lot of y'all want to hate on a group. It's the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the liberals' fault. It's the leftists. It's the right wing nut jobs. It's these people. It's those people. It's the blacks. It's the whites. It's everybody's fault but your own, ain't it? It is the American people's fault that the American people are in this position that the American people are in. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. And yet we have no representation. None. It can be as illegal can be for cops to do the things that they do to black folks. And it still doesn't make any difference because, number one, there's no way to enforce it, not without those body cameras. The things they do to black folks, they practice those things with homeless people. A homeless person isn't going to have a family walk in and fucking help them out. A homeless person doesn't have family that's going to go to the courtroom with them in most cases. They're not going to have the money to hire a civil lawyer. And the police, they're not even going to pretend to investigate themselves. Their internal affairs and all that, they're not going to bother to investigate their officers over a homeless person. Nobody fucking cares about the homeless. BLM only cares about black folks until they're homeless. You got no idea the kind of hateful posts I've seen just today. Just today. And ignorance, too. Here's one from, she calls herself Lehana Boekelu. I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. And she's a white person who is perpetuating this racism and this ignorance. So I'm a Mexican American from a poor, rural, mostly white town in Oklahoma. Missing from this debate how poor whites see themselves. Right there, it's already a racist post. And already this person's trying to use, well, their genetic lineage as an excuse why they're right, why they must be right. See, we have to listen to minorities, but not white people. Oh, it's wrong for the police to do this to minorities, but not white people. We got all these things that each one of these sides is doing exactly what the other one is doing. I mean, look at the last 4 elections. We get a choice between one child molester or another. That's pretty much it. We got a choice between one doucher or another. We don't really have much choice. When you got a choice between one demon or another, you're still voting for a demon. All the demons I know are people. All the angels, too. Comes down to the decisions you make and also the sacrifices. We all got to make sacrifices. Anyway, types, if you're wondering how poor, exploited white people could vote for a dude with a golden elevator who will fuck them over, here's how. Grab a hold of your ankles, people. Bohica, here we come. All right. Now, there's like 20 of these things. This person is, first of all, trying to use their genetic lineage, or not even genetic lineage. This person is extremely white looking, but this person is talking about being a Mexican American. Are you Mexican or American? That's geographic location. Take your pick, one or the other. I consider myself human, but if you want to break it down into subcategories as an excuse to make you better than somebody else, or as an excuse to pretend you're better than somebody else, lick it. Anyway, it says they don't see themselves as poor. They, holy hell. They don't base their identity on it. They see themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Oh yes, this is white people, isn't it? You don't consider this racist, do you? The stigma against poverty is incredibly strong. It is shameful to be poor, to not have the comforts of the middle class. So they pretend. Now, all you motherfuckers are pretending. Everybody on the planet is pretending. All of you. Not just white folks. Not just black folks. You got no idea. Like, there's a lady not far from here. She lives in the next building over. She's a prostitute right across the street. When you hear her out there at night being a prostitute, man, the ignorant crap, we be, he be, she be, they be. I be telling you what, holy hell. But she's also got a daughter. How do I know this? Well, she lives next building over. She literally goes from over there where the Johns are to where she is to have sex with them. But when she's on the phone with her mom, it's not we be, he be, she be, they be. I be getting mine. I got to get mine. That's how she sounds over there across the street when she's on the phone with her mother. I'm not. Here's what she was saying to her mother. No, Mom, I like it in Colorado. Yes, she's fine. And then there's an intelligent conversation that ensues after that. An intelligent conversation with her mom, because she can't make her phone calls. The walls are paper thin, so she comes out to the alley to have a conversation. That way she doesn't get kicked out of the place for being too loud. Although she's not being very loud, she's having a regular conversation with her mom. It's not we be, he be, she be, they be, and I got to get mine. It's a respectable conversation. If you were to turn it off, turn off the visual of it, turn off the visual of her skin color. If you listen to her when she talks to her mom versus when she's over there selling drugs and her body, they don't sound like the same person. One of them sounds like a stereotypical black person, like we want to perpetuate, right? Like we got to perpetuate this. We're bad people, right? See, it's not just white society. It's society as a whole that's perpetuating this stuff. That lady, she is obviously brought up. She obviously isn't letting her mom know that she's a prostitute. But when she's across the street there, yeah, she wants to fit in with the other Ebonics. Most of these people don't speak Ebonics until they're on drugs. When I say these people, I mean these people in specific across the street who are selling the crack and selling sex. Regardless of their skin color. Now, in this area, this is Colfax. Okay, this is Colfax in Denver. It is known and world famous. That's right, world famous for prostitutes. In specific for male prostitutes, although there's a lot of female prostitutes here. Now, I see a lot of white families and a lot of black families that I know their lives ain't perfect. I know they ain't rich. I know their clothes come from a secondhand store, but that don't stop them from trying to pretend their lives are perfect on Facebook and YouTube. Like everything in their lives is perfect. They got the perfect family, got the perfect this, got the perfect that. They don't. They just don't want people to know that they got problems because people use that against you. You think your friends are there for you. You think they're your friends, but not always. Let's move to the next one. what is it they said in school? Next slide, please. That they aren't poor. They are willing to lie to make it seem like they aren't poor. They purchase things to make it seem like they're not. They. It's not just white people, folks. It's not. I don't do that. I don't pretend I'm not poor. I don't pretend that my money is not the world's business. See, here's the thing. My finances is your business. It's the American people. The rest of the world, I don't know. I personally think we're all humans, so we all need to take charge. But there's a lot bigger fights than mine in a lot of these other places. Here in the United States, however, my fight is the biggest fight that there is. My fight is the only one that will get laws changed across the entire United States. My fight is the only one that shows that this cruelty is by design. All of the tricks that they use to prevent a poor person from having to stay in court, from being able to talk to their friends and loved ones, from being able to get a real lawyer. I mean, here in the United States, if you ain't got the money for a lawyer, it doesn't matter how right you are. There were people that wanted me to have a lawyer right from the very start, and were willing to spend money to do it. But Candace Bondurant and Carl Rogers and the bullshit that they pulled robbed me of that. A lot of people had good intentions that continued to rob me. Do I purchase things to make it seem like I'm not poor? No, I purchase things that I hope will help me to have a future. Of course, all the money that I spent trying to get a vehicle that was up and running, get some property, and get my stuff safe, well, all that money went to waste because of decisions of others. Things that other people did without thinking about the consequences for me. They just wanted to be selfish. But it's alright, isn't it? Because I'm a male. I have a penis. I'm white. I don't know how many of these guys out here spending money on bling bling. Nice chains, nice shirts, nice shoes. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people around here walking around with brand new Air Jordans. Michael Jordan hasn't played basketball in years. A lot of these guys are dressed in vintage 90s gangster, you know, because it's not necessarily gangster looking. There's also a lot of people in the area with tattoos on their face. Does a tattoo make them bad people? No, it doesn't. Anyway, this person continues and writes, in my town, wealth wasn't associated with greed, but with hard work and inherent goodness. You are blessed if you have material wealth. That way in a lot of places. It's not just white towns. I know a lot of Hispanic folks who have that same exact way of thinking. Matter of fact, several of the people recorded on this here YouTube of Hispanic descent or Latin descent, depending on who you're asking. They talk about that, how their families, they got a favorite. The favorite's usually the one with the most money. The one with the most money is the one who gets the most help. The other ones fall by the wayside. And that's not in every Hispanic family. That's not in every black family. That's not in every white family. But among the superficial, which could be any color, well, then we do have this issue with material wealth. Now, where's the issue with all of this? They white people, white people, white people, they, white people, they, white people, white people, they. If I was to say this stuff and replace this with black people and they, it would be racist. When they see Trump, they don't see an extortionist who is, well, hold on a second. How are you, who is not identifying as a white person, going to tell a whole bunch of white people how they think, how they feel, how they voted? Or are you assuming that it's the poor who are doing this? I mean, automatically you're downing on the poor by doing this while you're talking about how terrible it is that, well, they're being extorted. Duh. Poor people are easy to extort. That's what the government survives on, extortion of the American people. Donald Trump is not any different from any other politician in that matter. I'm against Donald Trump. I'm against all politicians. A couple of $1 million to line somebody's pocket, and we can get some laws changed. I mean, look at big oil. They throw a couple of $1 million, and we get screwed. We. You notice that I'm white, right? Yeah, we. The most likely people to be victimized or to be murdered by the police are the disabled and the homeless, and I happen to be both. I needed help in person with all of this, and no matter how much I tried, no matter how many resources I wasted towards that, thing is, I needed a caseworker who was going to actually help me. I couldn't jump through all of these hoops. And I told everybody that I can't jump through these hoops. I need help. I ended up spending a lot of money for help that didn't show up. And then I get treated like I didn't try. And those people never come forward in court. Like Star, I'm hoping that with everything that's happened, everything that we've done, that she'll speak up in court, but she has to show up here to speak up. Also, she's not going to know what to do with all of this evidence, and there's a lot of it. If I'm sitting in jail, then they can torture me the same as they always do. That's not okay. I don't think I'm a millionaire. I am stuck in reality. In reality, prayer doesn't do nothing. In reality, praying for God to give my friends blankets didn't get them blankets. You know what got them blankets? Getting off my ass, getting blankets, and taking them to where those people are. That's what kept people from freezing to death. And no, I didn't save every single person in Boulder. There are lots of people who still froze to death. I can't be in all places at once. When somebody's cold and wandering around Boulder, Colorado looking for a warm place, they're wandering around Boulder, Colorado. I can't be at all places at once. I can't. Boulder, Colorado is a pretty big place, and how am I supposed to know that any one person is without a blanket? But I made sure that people knew that I had blankets, that I was on Pearl Street. That's what I did. But this person is bashing on white people. When they see Trump, they don't see an extortionist who is rich because of the very conditions that keep their own communities in poverty. All communities, it doesn't matter if they're white or not. I see black people doing the same thing. I see Hispanic folks doing the same thing. I see a lot of different people doing the exact same thing. And I see all of them taking out on the homeless. Every one of these groups, if you want to drop it down into groups, people are shitty to the homeless. People will allow just about anything to happen as long as they have someone lower on the totem pole that they can shit on. That's people. That's just how they work. It'd be nice if there were less people like that, but we don't get to make that decision, do we? Like our ship just ain't sailed in. There's a lot of white folks who do know what's going on. The color of their skin. A lot of people are not just sexist, not just racist. I mean, they got all sorts of different prejudices, but you want to focus on the skin color one. All the rest of them are apparently okay. It's apparently okay to be racist against white people. It's okay to be sexist against men. That's gross. Anyway, this person typed, they see someone who worked hard and was justly rewarded with wealth. Most men, especially, think they too could be Trump were it not for, holy hell, see, racism and sexism from this same person. This same person who can't be racist because they're a minority. Are you sure? Are you sure? It also says the unfair obstacles put in their way. White men who don't consider themselves successful enough have so many excuses for their failures. See, and that's the thing. Bashing on white people. This is a white people thing. White people, white men especially, bashing on white men. Anyone can bash on white men. If I was to replace the word white with black and replace the word men with women, it would be considered sexist. I might get a Facebook ban for posting it. Let's see. The idea that immigrants are the reason they are poor and not wealthy like Trump is so appealing. And see, that's the thing. Chapo, Nebraska, they blame everything on blacks and Mexicans. It's all blacks and Mexicans' fault that alcoholics are always broke. No, you're always broke because you spend $50 at the bar every night. You spend $50 at the bar every night because you're pathetic. Then take a look at all these addicts, regardless of color. What this guy is trying to blame on white people is better attributed to addicts. Anyway, it says the idea that immigrants are the reason they're poor and not wealthy like Trump is so appealing. It takes all the shame and blame away. Well, why should poor people be shamed? Why should poor people be blamed? If you're raped, it's not your fault you were raped. No matter how much people try to tell you that it is your fault or you shouldn't have been there, that's what boys get. Boys get told they shouldn't have been there. It's their fault because they shouldn't have been there. It's gross. All right, someone called Big Man typed, Dad took the portal on the 56, getting 8-balled in the basement. Hey, remember me and you. All right, I'm not sure who this doucher is. I'm going to get back to reading what I was reading. All right. I don't like Trump. I don't. Matter of fact, I literally threatened Donald Trump's life to try to get a day in court. I did not get my day in court. Matter of fact, I got abused repeatedly. This country is gross. Everybody's racist. White people, black people, it don't matter. Always got to shame and blame somebody else. Always got to blame some other group. A lot of people are hateful about voting. They try to make every election so close. Got to keep you separated. You got to keep separated. I see this stuff where black people are saying, see how this upper middle class white kid's treated versus this black person? And then there's a bunch of them, white folks, who are posting up similar stuff. You see how this poor white person was treated and how this upper middle class or rich black person got off. I see both sides of it. It's poverty, motherfuckers. Race is a tiny part of that. Tiny part. But so is perpetuation. See, that's an even bigger part than race. That lady over there, who obviously is not a weeby, heebie, sheeby kind of person when they're at their mother's house, is perpetuating the dumb crack hoe on TV. When people watch TV and they see a dumb crack hoe acting like a dumb crack hoe on TV, you know, there's probably 5 or 6 people in this neighborhood who have heard her talking over there, know that she lives the building she does, that it's full of prostitution and known for prostitution. And when they see that person on Law and Order or one of these other shows, they go, man, I know somebody just like that. I know that hoe. Literally, I've heard those words out of black people's mouths since I've been here about TV crack hoes. I know that hoe. Now, why is this lady being a prostitute with a kid when she's obviously not from here? I think she's from Texas. That's just an assumption based on the way that she was talking and who she was talking to. She was talking to her mom with a lot of respect. Very educated sounding. But she's perpetuating a stereotype that's, well, it's getting people killed. That's the thing about being pissed off at all the people that I'm pissed off at. I'm pissed off at them because their bullshit is getting people killed. Their perceptions are, well, they're schizophrenic, to say the least. For a Christian to call somebody schizophrenic, you talk to your imaginary fucking friend, all right? You go to the store and buy things and wrap them up and set them underneath the tree and say that fucking Santa Claus did it. Your daughter comes up to you on the playground or at the park and says, hey, that boy hit me. And you tell her, well, that's because he likes you. No. Where the fuck did you learn your parenting skills? There's a lot of people that need somebody to blame, but they're not just blaming you. See, racists, they really don't just hate any one group. They may hate one group more than another, but there's always the base layer. Now, what's that? That's the group that anyone can pick on. If you're an immigrant, it's okay to treat homeless people like trash. If you're a Mexican American, it's okay to treat the homeless like trash. If you're a black person, it's okay to treat the homeless like trash. If you're a police officer, it's okay to, it doesn't matter who you are, you can take it out on the homeless. It is your God-given right to take it out on the homeless, isn't it? This person types, and here we have a man who they think tells it like it is and is willing to name the things stealing prosperity out of their hands. I'm telling you like it is. I am. Donald Trump isn't going to tell you like it is. Donald Trump doesn't have to live it. People I see who are totally Trumptafarians, yeah, the reason that they're into Donald Trump is because, well, he'll feed them the same bias that they want to believe, just like Christians do with the Bible. Oh, well, this part doesn't say the hateful stuff that I wanted to say because I hate somebody down the street. So I'm going to go back to the fire and brimstone. Oh, well, if I read the whole paragraph, it doesn't really fit. But I'm going to pick out two little pieces out of it, and that I can kind of construe in a way that, yeah, Christians got no place telling everybody they're mentally ill or calling anyone mentally ill. You talk to your imaginary friend. You might as well be talking about magic and fairy dust. If you believe in God, you are schizophrenic. Let's see, if these people, these people, these people, these people, they, whites, and obviously men. If these people saw themselves as an exploited class of people, if American culture didn't stigmatize poverty so much, it might be different. And that is very true. But these people, which people is this person talking about? Whites and men who are poor. But white America has so entangled wealth with goodness and poverty with moral deficiency, they can't build that identity. They won't. Are you sure about that? There are a lot of white folks, a lot of white males that I see at these BLM rallies. There are a lot of white men, a lot of white straight men that I've seen marching with LGBT. I was one of them, have been for many years. The identity that I have was given to me. It was not a decision. Defending myself was a decision, and it was a good decision. It's just unfortunately, I am a male who is broke, so I have no rights. Your rights are dependent upon your income. That is how it is, no matter how much you want to bullshit the rest of the world. We live in a society that is based on money. That's what capitalism is. It's all based on money. Your rights are based on money. Money, 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 money. Meanwhile, everything that they do costs you money. You don't have to be guilty. You don't. They will eat up your money with court ordered bullshit before you ever have a day in court. That's not okay. That's not acceptable. The police did everything they could to avoid having to do their jobs. After they didn't do their jobs and people got killed, it became a major issue. There are 22 people, at least, who are dead in the last 3 years, 4 years, because people didn't listen. They didn't want to listen. They didn't take the time. They wanted to make assumptions and they wanted to listen to people who had every reason and every excuse to try to destroy my life. That's called motive. Natalie Bollinger didn't want everybody to know she was a heroin whore. I mean, shit, what woman would? That lady across the street who's living in the building next door, does she want her mom to know that she has sex with men to pay for a habit that she's got? She's not going to tell her mom that. She's telling her mom, "No, Mom, I like it here in Colorado." Meanwhile, she sells her body on Colfax. I wonder if she rents an extra room or something, or if they got. Well, there's no soundproofing in that building, so anybody she has sex with, everybody in the building is going to hear it. A lot of this stuff, it's not that you guys are wrong. You are absolutely right about it. You're just pointing at the wrong people. There's black people who voted for Donald Trump, too. You know, there's a lot of people who voted for Trump because people said Biden was a racist and a child molester, or a rapist, sorry. And there's a lot of people who voted for Biden because, well, they think Donald Trump is a rapist, child molester. It don't come down to right and wrong at all. Americans choose to be ignorant. Well, why would I worry about black people? I'm not black. Why would I worry about women? I'm not a woman. Why would I worry about children? I'm not a child. You know, you should mind your own business. You should mind your own business. You should mind your own business. Well, minding your own business is getting people killed. Might get you killed next. Is that what you want? Is that what you're pushing for? When I see a whole bunch of racist posts, like when I see a bunch of people from BLM making a bunch of racist posts about white people, I replace that word. I replace the word white with black. And black people don't like that. When I see a bunch of women making the same posts over and over and over again about how trashy men are, well, I'll make a post about how trashy women are. You like that? No, you don't. You don't like it, but I'm supposed to. Meanwhile, a man can go to prison over your opinion, whereas for a man to get you to even spend a day in jail for assaulting the shit out of him is like, well, it's like asking God to do something. Dear God, could you pass out blankets for me for a night? I didn't fucking think so.